here, cowboy, I've been missing you today.
I think I became interested in music and songwriting when I fell in love with music, and that's beyond my earliest memories. From a child, music moved me, and that drew me in, and from there I began to fall in love with songwriting.
And there you'll find my dear love.
My sister, since I was a little bitty kid, always told me I had a way with words. And sometime around 1985, she came to Austin to visit me for the weekend. I went over to H-E-B to get some groceries, and when I got back, she had been in my bedroom closet and pulled out a cardboard box that I kept my lyrics in. Pieces of songs, pieces of poems, and she had circled what she thought was good, and she said, "Allen, you need to finish these." And at first I was mad at her for getting in my closet. And then she said, "But there's $1 million in here." And I was broke at the time, and that sounded pretty good.
And on the day she turned 14, they put her on.
When you can have a relationship with a singer and you're a songwriter, that's a good thing. Early in my career, I developed a friendship with a man named Mike Reed, former All-Pro defensive end for the Cincinnati Bengals, since been inducted into the Songwriting Hall of Fame. Mike was on CBS Records at the time and had a record deal. We wrote just about once a week, and over the period of a year and a half or so, we wrote quite a few songs that were recorded by other artists and recorded by Mike. And I guess most notably was a song called "I Can't Make You Love Me" that came out of that friendship and that writing relationship.
'Cause I can make you love me if you don't. You can make your heart feel something it won't here in the dark.
The other artist that I had a relationship with, or have a relationship with to this day, is a man named David Ball. And when I first got to Nashville, David and I wrote at the same publishing company. And we wrote a song called "Thinking Problem."
Yes, I admit I've got a thinking problem. She's always on my mind. Her memory goes round and round. I've tried to quit 1,000.
That would have to be "Don't Laugh at Me," a song I co-wrote with Steve Seskin. And that song, the idea was born out of my daughters were just starting Mother's Day out. They started wearing glasses 2 weeks apart. I had a nephew that was getting braces, and I was reminded how cruel kids could be with their words. And Steve could really relate, and we sat around, and just out of a conversation, that song was born that day.
Don't laugh at me, don't call me names, don't get your pleasure from my pain. In God's eyes, we're all the same. Someday we'll all have perfect wings. Don't laugh at me.
And it went on to be a #1 country song, and then it went on to be turned into a children's book. But I guess the thing that has been most surprising, it was turned into a school curriculum. Peter Yarrow of Peter, Paul, and Mary really has taken it upon himself to turn it into a movement and use the song "Don't Laugh at Me" as their theme.
Son, everything's gonna be okay. Tears were made.
The songwriting process for me is like, well, let me give you an example. I was in Galveston, Texas a few years ago, and I looked out my hotel window. I saw one guy with a surfboard paddle out into the water, and the water was slick as glass. And I started laughing to myself, and I thought, that's what I do every day. I paddle out on the ocean of creativity and wait for a wave of inspiration. And some days a wave comes in, and some days it doesn't, but at least I got to play in the water.
Rewind my life, I'm back to when
I actually have three. My first favorite song would have to be He Walked on Water. I feel like that was the first honest song I wrote after I began to learn the craft of songwriting, and it opened a lot of doors for me.
And my mama's daddy was his oldest son, and I thought that he walked on water.
Outside of music, I'd have to say my greatest inspiration has probably been my mother. She was raised in an orphanage, and she overcame impossible odds in life, and I've always admired her ability to rise up. And inside music, probably my two greatest inspirations have been Chris Christopherson and Rodney Crowell.
I'm gonna live, laugh, love just for today. I'm gonna take
It feels like somebody has given me a pair of boots about 10 sizes too big, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to grow into them. I'm really honored and proud to be honored by people from my home state, the state that I love, and to be honored with people who've inspired me and encouraged me all these years. And honestly, I'm overwhelmed.
center field, I was number 3. Hey, I bet that